Hey, let me ask you something. Have you ever heard of someone called Taylor Swift? Oh, here we go.
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Don't underestimate Taylor Swift's tears. For Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's
and Travis Kelce are now engaged.
Familiar with the matter.
Oh my God, is it over?
Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's love story.
Okay, I think it's over. Oh, I thought it was bad to mention Bionicle. Let me move on real quick. Taylor Swift, you know her. You almost definitely have an opinion on her. She almost certainly does not have an opinion of you. No, I'm sorry to break it to you, Chelsea, she does not. And pretty much from go, Taylor Swift has put out merch. There is the classic merch staples, the t-shirts, the vinyls, and like, you know, that stuff's cool, but like, what is that worth now?
This one goes for between $500 and $650.
Wait, for a vinyl?
You can find this one from anywhere between $300 and $500.
Are you kidding me?
You can find this one from anywhere between $450 and $550.
And that's just the regular stuff. Taylor Swift has so much merch. Guitars, ornaments, cardigans, and almost certainly weirder stuff that I can't find. And you know, as someone's fame grows, so too does their willingness to collaborate. And you get some good stuff, right? Charmin, the toilet paper, teamed up with Kim Kardashian.
Charmin is opening up a great, gorgeous, clean restroom.
Victoria's Secret got Bob Dylan. The Nintendo DS got Penelope Cruz.
Buongiorno, can I have a mushroom, please?
And of course, Lego is no stranger to celebrity collabs. Who can forget Mark Hamill and the Smart Brick Helpline?
Beloved characters that come to life.
And recently, Lego has started to dip into celebrity sets. Soccer players, Formula One racers, and of course, pop stars. First, there was the Beatles, then BTS, and now...
Oh my God, this is so gorgeous!
Olivia Rodrigo. And is it just me, or do these Olivia Rodrigo sets feel like, what is the Venn diagram of Olivia Rodrigo fans and Lego fans? Genuinely, I'm asking, did people want this? I don't know, but you know what people do seem to want? A Taylor Swift Lego set. My evidence? 11 times a Taylor Swift set has hit the 10,000 vote threshold on Lego Ideas, which means Lego has to consider it. And for 10 of them, still waiting on one, the answer is no. So what is going on here? Is it Lego? Is it Taylor? We've got Olivia Rodrigo sets. We've got BTS. Where is Lego for the biggest pop star in the world? My name's Eric Crittenden. This is Clutch Power, a show about the ways we love Lego. Episode 23. Where is the Taylor Swift Lego set? In part one, an interview with my fiancée, Olivia Sheane. We just got engaged. I wanted to bring her on the show to introduce you guys to her. I know you're going to fall in love with her as quickly as I did. Olivia is the biggest Taylor Swift expert I know, and I don't mean that. She's listened to all the albums, right? In one of our first text conversations, she sent me a multi-paragraph response to my question, what's your favorite Taylor Swift album? That kind of obsessive energy, she's going to fit in well here. In a bonus segment for Clutch Power supporters only, we take a dip into the Taylor Swift merch pool. Olivia's been a Taylor Swift fan almost from the beginning, so she knows all the weird stuff, and she'll help me answer the question, has Taylor Swift merch gone downhill? And in part two, the big Taylor Swift questions. Why do people like her? Why do they like her merch? I'm not really into pop stars or music or concerts or anything like that. This is kind of a whole new world for me. But I'm going in with an open mind, and as Taylor always says, it's Tay-Tay time. She says that, right? Part one. I have an idea. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Me too. Lego Ideas was a good idea. LEGO fans submit a pitch for a set. If 10,000 people vote for it, it goes to LEGO for approval. I say was because the number of sets that hit 10,000 is just excessive now. 26 projects in 2020, okay, yeah, sure. 57 in 2021. And last year, have you met my friend, 146 sets? A lot of these ideas are genuinely great. A lot of them are just kind of because the majority are just licensed IPs. And like, here's some from that 146 review phase. Twister, The Hunger Games, Gilmore Girls. It's like, I guess it's not that crazy when LEGO's done sets like Jaws and Star Trek. And there's also just these like repeat sets that just, they keep coming back over and over and over. And like every quarter you hear
Jumanji of 1995 has received 10,000 supporters.
It was denied once already, but I would love to be wrong.
A LEGO set version of the Jumanji board game may be on the way.
And yes, I know LEGO gave Jumanji the green light recently, that after 9 attempts. That's not my point. The Taylor Swift Lover House is one of those repeat customers. Starting in 2022, 8 times a Lover House has hit 10,000 votes. And every time, it gets the thumbs down, no reason given. So the first question I wanted to ask Olivia, what even is the Lover House? What is the Lover House?
A blight. No, it's okay. So the Lover House, it all starts with, of course, the Lover album. For the title track, Lover, she has a music video, and that music video takes place in the Lover House. Each room is representative of a different era.
And it's kind of like a dollhouse, right? Like it's two-dimensional sort of.
Yes, it's like a dollhouse in that way. In the music video, it's her and a love interest, and it just shows them in all the different rooms. Lover came out before Folklore and Evermore, which both came out in 2020, a few months apart from each other. Once those albums came out, fans have speculated that these two rooms that were like staircase, like hallway-esque rooms, one was a grayish vibe, another one was like a beigeish vibe. Those were kind of like the ones that were not really explored in the music video. Fans theorized that those were those albums.
Is there any validity to that, or is it just...
It's a fan theory, and she kind of, the thing about Taylor, so she is, in her own words, a mastermind. That's a song on Midnights. But she is, and she's famous being kind of 10 steps ahead. So there's a famous interview of her on a late night show where she says that because they asked her about her Easter eggs, which, like, at this point, dead horse. But this is when Easter eggs were still fun. A late night host asked her, like, how are you, like, people are finding things from, like, years back that, like, seem to indicate something like you did much later. How do you do that? And she responded by saying, I like to think 5 years in advance, like what's the longest I can plan something out and just plant these cutesy little seeds for folks to find later on.
But also, so, I'm not like trying to discount what she said, but like there is a bit of the hindsight, right?
Oh yeah. Oh.
Like, did she really like? I think I saw with the Lover House, they were like, and it's nighttime outside, which is like,
and
midnight.
That's midnight.
Yeah, which is like, I don't know about.
I
like
actually
maybe.
Don't. That one, I think the Evermore Focal, but also the reason me personally, I don't think that Folklore and Evermore were included in the Lover House is because they were born out of COVID. So right. I don't think I think those are incredible albums, like actual crown jewels of her discography, in my opinion. And I think no one would argue the Folklore is. She wrote them during lockdown, and she has been it's very well documented from her own mouth that she would not really have written those albums or like had the time or like space to explore different sounds and mediums that she wouldn't have like as a pop artist explored. So I personally don't think that's true. I think that's a moment of hindsight, but it's more likely than the Midnights being the outside nighttime theory.
So is the Lover, like, what's the appeal of the Lover House? Because this is something that fans have wanted a Lego set of.
Yeah, well, I mean, what's the appeal of the Eras tour, right? The appeal is the nostalgia. At its core, right? Like TikTok Cloud is one of the appeals for some people. For me, I got to relive so many memories because I've been to every single headlining tour that she's ever done. I got to relive so many different memories that I have made over the years, and not just memories like at her shows, but the memories that I have tied to her songs. All of her different eras mean something different to me. It's kind of, each album is like a snapshot in my mind of what my life was like at that time. If I listen to Red, like maybe if you listen to Red and you hear songs like I Knew You Were Trouble and We Are Never Ever Getting Back Together and 22, those songs, maybe you just think this is a Taylor Swift album.
Yeah.
To me, when I listen to Red, I am 14. I'm a freshman in high school, and I am riding the subway to school listening to that album on my iPod. And it's like revisiting all of the feelings, hard and good, that I was feeling at that time of my life when I listened to that album. And that goes for all of her different albums. If I listen to Reputation, I'm in college and I'm scared to graduate and be a person who contributes to society. And it's just, the Lover House is kind of the Eras tour in a nutshell, because since every room is a representation of a different era, it's a way to capture the broader scope of her career rather than, I guess, choosing like one specific thing to do.
Is there a better subject than the Lover House to kind of like sum up Taylor Swift?
I would say, I think the Lover House would be I think it's a very strong contender. I think it's a good way to really capture not all of the eras, but a majority of them in one set. And it's because she's had such a long, illustrious career that it's hard to pick one specific icon or moment, because I think, like, if we're looking at like specific to different eras, I mean, she had Karen the Snake, which was on the Reputation tour, there was a giant blow up like snake that would come up behind her. I think doing a recreation of that snake would be really awesome. I think of course, her famous rhinestone guitar, I think that would be so beautiful. And that would also be kind of a way to capture Taylor Swift if I had to choose like one icon.
More than the Lover House?
To me, yes, but probably not to the masses, but just to me, because that's kind of, she was playing that thing on the Fearless tour. You know what I mean? Like, it goes all the way back, and she played it on Speak Now. She made a new like replica version of it because the real one is being displayed in the Country Music Hall of Fame in Nashville. But on the Eras tour, she and her parents actually hand stoned that guitar that you see her playing during the Fearless set. It's the fact that also it's such an iconic object or item. It's an icon in of itself, sort of, to her career, especially to like her roots, but it's still like she's still referencing it today. So to me, yes, but if we're talking like general public, honestly, I think that the Lover House would be a really great way to, I don't know that there's...
People want all the minifigs. of all the different eras.
Exactly. Right. Like the rhinestone guitar that he's making for me and like the other OG fans, you know what I mean? But the Lover House, God, I can't escape it.
Well, it's just weird that it's still relevant because that was what, 5 albums ago?
Well, she put it, well, but it's because it has all the albums, but she included it in the visuals for the Eras tour during Lover, and she actually burned it down in the visuals.
So she hates it too.
She hates it too now. Well, that's a bigger conversation. Yeah. She said Easter eggs, and her fans decided that meant she went to a restaurant. She got paparazzi'd outside this restaurant. I'm going to look up the menu. This is serious. This is a real thing that happened. She went to a restaurant with Travis Kelce on a date, and fans decided to look up the restaurant, found the menu, and read through the menu, and were like, oh, the name of this dish or this cocktail, like, this is code for the next album. This is code for a song. Are you okay? Baby, she's having lunch. Or she'll be like paparazzi walking down the street or like out of her apartment in New York, and she will have like 3 strands of hair in front of her left shoulder, and they're like, it's going to be a 3-part album. and it's like, hey, so that's actually just the way her hair.
They don't believe in coincidence anymore, which is kind of the downside of doing Easter eggs.
Like, it actually, I think it has effectively dehumanized her to a lot of fans. They see her as this machine that exists only to perform for them, and even the simple act of her walking to her car from her apartment is in some way a performance. I personally see her as a human being. Hot take, Taylor Swift is a human, and if I were her, I would rue the day that the words Easter egg ever came out of my mouth. But who could have predicted? Like, who could predict it? Because in her early albums, she would hide secret messages in like the CD booklets, where like in each song, it would all be lowercase, but there would be certain letters that were capitalized, and those would spell out different messages. And that was like a fun, cute way for her to communicate with like the fans who were dedicated enough that bought the CD. And now, but that's like,
now we got to see what she's eating at this one restaurant.
Because that thing is that these, like, and any of the fans who are doing that, by the way, who are looking up restaurants and being like, the waiter said that she ordered this cocktail, so that must mean. I'm just saying, and this is a vast generalization, and I'm sure there's exceptions to this. I've never met someone who was a fan for longer than before the Eras tour was announced, or at the very least, probably the Folklore. Yeah. Anyone who was a fan for Folklore, I've never met one of them that was doing all that. Any of my friends who, like I said, I was raised on Stan Twitter, so I have a lot of Swiftie friends from back in the day who are all still Taylor Swift fans. None of them are doing all that. I think it's unhealthy and weird, to be honest.
Yeah. Olivia Rodrigo just released Lego set. And it's not like Olivia Rodrigo has a Lover House. So there's 5 sets.
5?
There's a record. There's a secret Olivia Rodrigo secret storage. There's like a 2-sided guitar. There's a record player with her on a moon. And then there's flowers, which kind of feels a little bit like they're cheaping out. That doesn't really feel like an Olivia Rodrigo set. But my question is, who is this for?
No, yeah.
Because it's not for, it doesn't seem like it's for Lego fans.
And here lies why I don't think Taylor has done a Lego set, is that, because why? I mean,
like, is there an audience? Like, would Swifties be interested in that?
Yes. So, Swifties, absolutely. Like, if Taylor put her face on a sack of potatoes,
they would buy it.
I mean, I even might have a sack. You know what I'm saying? So,
especially if they were like different colors, maybe like red potatoes, russet potatoes.
Yeah. They would buy I don't even know. Like, I'm trying to think. There are very few things that I think Swifties would not buy if she slapped her name on it. And actually, that's an ongoing conversation topic within the Swiftie fandom because people feel that her merch has kind of declined in quality. Who's the Olivia Rodrigo set for? It is for Olivia Rodrigo fans. It's kind of like who was the BTS set for? It was for BTS fans. And what I think those
famously, that sold really badly.
Which is actually, I find that surprising because BTS fans are so passionate.
Yeah, but there's not that many of them compared to like Lego Star Wars fans.
You better be careful.
I'm just saying, like, it's sheer number. Like, I as a non-BTS fan that likes Legos, I'm not gonna buy the BTS.
No, when your fan base skews very young, they're not the ones who have the card to swipe. Of course, Lego is for everyone and for people of all gender identities. I would, maybe correct me if I'm wrong, I would say most Lego fans are men or boys. That's probably the reason that the BTS one didn't sell as well. Yeah. Those are a couple of reasons.
Maybe a better example that sold even worse is the Queer Eye set, which is just...
That's just bizarre.
It's so weird.
Well, because also, when did that come out?
I don't know. But like the weird thing about this set is... Well, it wasn't like... Because they have Lego Ideas, which is like the Taylor Swift stuff, which is where fans like submit fan creations. And that's where you got the BTS one. Queer Eye was not one of those. Someone at Lego was just like...
They were really rocking JVM.
Like, I love this Queer Eye show. 2021.
That's so late. That's puzzling to me because, I mean, I watched Queer Eye, the Netflix Queer Eye, so popular. But that was a few years before 2021, if I'm correct.
I mean, it takes some years to like develop a set and like...
With something like Queer Eye, it's like, with a show like that, you go, surely this can't be this popular for years to come. Well, Olivia Rodrigo fans like will buy it. I'm sure. Doing 5 sets, that's crazy.
That's a lot.
That's so many sets. Taylor has not done one.
Right.
And in my opinion, I think it's because of the question why.
Right.
The thing about Taylor is that she is a very, like I said, she's really good at capitalism, and she, someone like her, she's been so famous for so long. She, like I said before, she could slap her face on a sack of potatoes and they would be the fastest selling potatoes.
Right.
They would sell like a hot potato. But she's actually really selective with the brands that she does work with. She actually, currently today, she doesn't seem to have, at least to my knowledge, any outward partnerships with brands right now.
Yeah.
But if we look back, pretty much all of the partnerships she's done make a lot of sense. Like there's no real, why would she do that?
Can you give some examples?
Absolutely. I can give you some examples. The first one, like the earliest I can think of would be LEI jeans that I believe were sold at Walmart. In 2008, she was the face of their back to school campaign. And she was in all of the promo images and they released a Taylor jean as part of that collection that was like, I think it was like a flared or like boot cut low rise jean that had these like embroidery on the butt pockets. This is 2008. And it's back to school. So this would have been right before she released Fearless. Pretty much coincided or led up to at least the release of the lead single of Fearless, Love Story. So there's some hype going on there. But during this time, especially her first 2 albums, she's giving very much Girl Next Door,
right?
Very much All American Sweetheart. And being the face of the back to school jeans specifically, I mean, she wears short skirts, I wear t-shirts, she's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers. It just fit her brand at the time, especially being that it was sold at Walmart. It made it very accessible to her young fans because like at this time, while she certainly had, you know, fans that were similar in age to her or older, the vast majority, especially at the time, skewed much younger, more like grade school, middle school. That made so much sense for that time. She also, who else did she work with? I remember she was the face of Sony for a specific camera. And she did a commercial with them. And that might seem kind of like, why? That would be one where you go, why? But then at the time, so I want to say this was like 2011 that this was happening, that she was the face of the specific camera into 2012. She was on tour for her Speak Now album. And during that era, Fearless, she was posting a lot of vlogs on her YouTube channel that she was filming herself. And they were really personal, really behind the scenes. And she was using this camera. So it made sense at that time. She worked with Keds. That made so much sense. She started working with them during the Red era. And she worked with them, I want to say from 2012 until 2015. So this was one of the longer ones. She released different drops of Keds during the Red era that fit the Red aesthetic. Keds are a very, I want to say like mod, vintage vibe of a brand. And the aesthetic that she was really leaning into during the Red era was very 60s. Very mod. And so visually, Keds just really fit. And she was able to also wear these shoes and it didn't look out of place, didn't feel forced. And then even into 1989, that era was very much influenced by the styles of the 1980s aesthetically. And Keds being a vintage feeling shoe, it still didn't feel forced, even though of course they kind of skew a little more 60s, even into the 80s. It felt natural. It didn't feel forced. And I owned like so many pairs of those. And they were really cute, by the way. Like I still have them at home in New York. And I would wear them today. So that just made so much sense. Who else has she worked with? Diet Coke. She has said that she was their spokesperson for so long. And she has said before, and I may be paraphrasing, but I'm almost certain this is a direct quote. She has said that Diet Coke is one of the greatest loves of her life. It's genuinely a drink that she enjoys. And also, I mean, she's known for a certain physique. So a diet soda, like if she was the face, it's kind of like, if she was the face of regular Coke, would I believe that she was drinking regular Coke like water? No, but Diet Coke, sure. That made sense. The only one that honestly I can say, I have a question mark over my head is she worked with EOS lip balm but it was China specific. Like it was only EOS lip balm China. And it's very odd. And that's really the only one out of this isn't everyone. She also worked with CoverGirl. She was the face of their, I want to say, Nature Lux campaign. And actually those press images, like the first images of her in that campaign in 2011, had her wearing red lipstick, which real ones know that she actually started wearing red lipstick the first time she wore red lipstick was on the 2009 cover of Allure magazine, where she was styled to wear red lipstick, fell in love with the look, and started incorporating it into her makeup repertoire, which was during Fearless era. But it was kind of like during this time, like Speak Now, I think, where it really became a cornerstone of her look, that classic red lip that everybody associates with Taylor, that red lip classic thing that you like, if you will, being that was like such a shift for her aesthetically, teaming up with CoverGirl and having those be the first images that we saw of that collab. It just made a lot of sense and fit with her brand.
What about Capital One?
Yeah. Well,
she likes money.
Fair, hey, baby.
She has a lot of money.
She got a credit card. I think, well, with Capital One and things like that, that's sure, like, but why does any artist do that?
Money.
Well, A, money, but also B, Capital One, Amex, whatever. Have you ever noticed that when you go to buy concert tickets, they'll have an artist pre-sale or they'll have a venue pre-sale, or before all of those, they will have a credit card pre-sale, and you have to have a specific credit card to participate in that really pre-sale. Cool. No, it's awesome. I love it. Actually, the reason I have a Capital One card myself is because I signed up for it to get tickets to the Eras tour during the pre-sale. And baby, and I did. But that's kind of, you know, par for the course when it comes to concerts, unfortunately. No comment on Live Nation or Ticketmaster. But I don't think that's like a Taylor specific thing. Yeah. I like she did Capital One because if she didn't do Capital One, maybe she would have done Amex, you know?
Right. So with a Lego Taylor Swift set, again, we don't know this, but like based on everything you've said, it probably seems like Taylor Swift's side was like, we don't want this.
Yeah. And it's not that it wouldn't, because I genuinely do believe it would sell so fast.
Right.
So fast.
I don't think it would have like a long tail though.
Well, sure. Like I think but the other thing is, I mean, you know this from watching me on Depop and all of that. The thing about Taylor Swift merch is because her fans operate so heavily on FOMO and the fumes associated with it. Once they stopped selling the Lover House, immediately the fans who did not get it, or people who were not a fan at the time and then down the line became a fan and had ultimate FOMO because they weren't there when the sacred text was written. They will spend exorbitant amounts of money on really anything that they can get their hands on of her that was considered exclusive.
That was like handwritten lyrics that was $1 million, and I was like, who would spy that? And you're like, a lot of people would spend $1 million on that.
Yeah, by the way, if I get it, I'm sorry, I get it. Like if I had enough money that $1 million was like indispensable, I would say I'll think about it. Like, to own a piece of art that has been so impactful to me, and like not just like a piece of it, but like the original text where it was written. That's like that would be like finding the 10 Commandments engraved into stone.
That's like me finding the Declaration of Independence rough draft.
No, it's genuinely like that's rivaling Nicolas Cage in National Treasure.
You would steal Teardrops on My Guitar handwritten.
Oh, there's
a map on the back of it.
There's a map on the back
to the next album.
And God, I get it. Yeah. I actually do get it, and I also stand by it. There are people who would spend.
Up next for Clutch Power supporters only, a chat about Taylor Swift merch, the highs, the lows, and the showgirl era. For everyone else, on to part 2, learning more about why people are so crazy about this Taylor Swift lady. Part 2. Taylor who? In Nashville, I used to work with this reporter named Terry Bolger. He was an older man with a really unique way of doing stories. And one night, I was just kind of putzing through his old stuff, and I came across this story in 2005.
Thanks. I think it's too thin. I need more hair.
Hair talk at Hendersonville High is a serious subject for 15-year-old Taylor Swift, considering her hair and face are already in national magazine ads.
Yeah, it's a story with Taylor Swift at 15 years old, still a high schooler, right before her first album came out. And once that album came out, it was game over. It hit US Billboards at number 5, spent 157 weeks there. That's like 3 years. It pretty much vaulted Taylor Swift into stardom. And she hasn't really come down. I vaguely remember this. I was around 9 when that first album came out. I wasn't really the target demo, but my older sister, became a Taylor Swift fan pretty immediately. And then once Fearless and Speak Now came out, Taylor Swift was a household name. And I imagine it was like that for a lot of folks, including Olivia. Why do people like Taylor Swift? What's the appeal?
I think it depends on who you ask, and I'll divulge more information. I'm not copying out. For me personally, I found Taylor via the radio, which I feel like doesn't happen anymore, in 2007, so about a million years ago. And her song "Teardrops on My Guitar" was playing on the radio, and it was like, world stop, who is this? And she was the first person for me, and you know me pretty well, but for those who don't, I don't like things a little bit. I like things a lot, or I dislike them a lot. I don't really believe in middle grounds. And so music is like that times a million for me personally. So with Taylor, she was like the first musician that I really connected with in a way that I could tell my peers didn't understand. I think if you look at it broader than like me personally, but this also applies to me because I'm a lyrics person, which you also know. I love diving into like the deeper meanings of songs. She's famous for her metaphors, and I mean, there's a reason she's been named by every publication as like one of the best songwriters of our generation, if not the best. It's that songwriting, it's the honesty. Because her music is so autobiographical, you would think it's all things that are very specific to her. However, she has this gift of being able to make really specific and personal experiences to her something that anyone can understand. For example, if we're looking at her song All Too Well, which is considered to be one of the best kind of pictures of her songwriting, and how personal it is. Like, for example, You Cut My Old Scar from that very first week because it reminds you of innocence and it smells like me. While I have never had a specific experience with a scarf, the scarf is a metaphor. For her, it's specific, but to everyone else, we all have a scarf from a previous relationship, romantic or otherwise, that could fit into that narrative and makes it just hit all harder. Just really captures the feeling in a way that's almost like a snapshot picture, that perfectly encapsulates the feeling of heartbreak. She's an artist that has a song for everything. I think she kind of gets pigeonholed by the general public as being a love/heartbreak song maker. And of course, that is the topic that is the most constant throughout her hits, at the very least. But she also just, when I say she has a song for everything, it's like, are you afraid of getting older and growing up? She has Never Grow Up from Speak Now, or Nothing New from Red Taylor's version, The Vault. Or it's like, if you, do you love your mom? Do you love your parents? do you love your mom? Do you love your mom? Sorry if you don't. But it's one of those things, like, she has the best day. Is one of your parents, or it's like a loved one who has been there for you throughout your life, have they gotten really sick and you are questioning what it's like, what it's going to be like, or who you'll be if they're not there anymore? She has a song for that, Soon You'll Get Better, from Lover. So I think if I had to take the huge tangent I just went on and compress it, it's the relatability and it's feeling understood. And for me, that is the crux of my love for Taylor Swift. I don't have any siblings, didn't have an older sister, so that's where I was getting that sort of older sister advice. I didn't feel so alone. Anything that I was feeling, there was a song for it. I could understand it better. And then for other people, I think it's TikTok clout from the Eras tour. I think more recently, but the pure of heart, like myself.
Can you kind of compare, I'm thinking like mid-2010s, like Taylor Swift to Katy Perry? Like, why is Taylor Swift so lauded and Katy Perry is not so much, aside from recent actions?
It's actually, the whole Katy Perry thing makes me very sad, because she was such a fixture of 2010s pop music, and I'm a pop girl. I love pop music, and Katy Perry, her Teenage Dream is a perfect pop album. This is not what you asked me.
Yeah.
Teenage Dream is a perfect pop album, and it perfectly just, God, you can't talk about 2010s pop without talking about Katy Perry. Such a moment. I mean, so many hits. California Girls, Teenage Dream, TGIF, Last Friday Night. She just had so many hits. That said, with Katy Perry specifically, and also for anyone who doesn't know, I work in the music industry. So
actually, when this episode is up, you will not be working in the music industry.
Yeah, but I worked in the music right now while we're filming recording this. I work in the music industry and in the digital marketing realm. Very sexy, not at all. During my several years that I worked in the music industry, it's given me like a fun little glimpse behind the curtain, and by fun I mean zapping the magic from everything. Don't meet your heroes, etc. But except for Taylor Swift, met her, she's awesome.
Yeah.
The kindest person ever. Anyway, I'm gonna say, if we look at Katy Perry, to continue to appeal to audiences as time goes on, you have to evolve with the cultural shifts that are happening at those times. And if we look at Katy Perry, can't say that she did that. I mean, looking at her career, because she had such a high with Teenage Dream, even Prism, which was the album that came after that, was a pretty high point in her career as well. I think it would be really tough to follow up something like Teenage Dream, though. That's kind of like her 1989 in the stratosphere of pop, you know? And then she released Witness in 2017. And she did some really interesting promotional tactics for it. She is known for her kind of like pinup girl, black, thick hair, long hair, that was Katy Perry. And then she decided to chop it all off and bleach it blonde. And one,
As you do.
okay, come on, Ellen. But I think I say this about Taylor. I mean, I unfortunately, she's the blueprint, or maybe not the blueprint, but she's kind of the exception, not the rule in a ways, but in this case, she's kind of the rule, and that to continue to be a fixture of pop culture, you have to have recognizability. And while Taylor has an aesthetic shift, like very clearly from album to album, she never switches it up so drastically that Joe Schmo would not be able, who's like doesn't care about her, would not be able to pick her out of a lineup.
She always kind of looks the same.
Exactly. And she'll have like little tweaks here and there, or like from, if she does, by the way, and I say this about every pop artist, you have to commit for an era, because if you change it up first of all, if you change too drastically right away, and especially with someone like Katy Perry, who she was so famous and she was so recognizable and she had such a strong brand, and then she completely in one fell swoop made it disintegrate before our eyes. Yeah. And while Taylor will have aesthetic shifts, it's always like specific to an era. So she'll never just like in the middle of an era pop out looking completely different or like having a completely new aesthetic. Even like when she's moving towards a new era, she'll kind of start like making subtle changes to anything from like her street style to how she is on red carpets, etc.
It's all part of the brand.
Yes. She is the brand. And Katy Perry, first of all, did that. She also did like a 24-hour live stream where she like had live therapy. And there's some really fun Stan Twitter images that people use as reaction photos. I mean myself. And one of them is her like crouched in the fetal position, and she's laying on the stairs and having sobbed her eyes out. And it was just very bizarre.
Yeah, that's cool. I don't want to watch that.
And it was 24 hours.
That's a lot of therapy.
Well, I mean, it wasn't therapy for the whole 24 hours. I didn't watch it because who's watching? I mean, I'm sure there were some Katy Perry fans. I think they're called Katy Cats. There were some Katy Cats out there who were locked in for those 24 hours. I wasn't one of them. But yeah, she did that. People found that very off-putting and odd.
Because it is.
Because it is. And so she marketed Witness, and especially the lead single of that album, Chained to the Rhythm. She marketed it as purposeful pop.
Yeah.
And, as you do. And so purposeful pop, and her definition of that was political ? Like it was, she wasn't really.
And this was like 2017-ish, right?
Yeah. And so she was definitely trying to get in on that. There's some artists where I think their politics are a core piece of their artistry. Another one of my favorite artists, as you know, Halsey, she is an activist, and she has always been an activist and very open about her opinions, very passionate. She has songs like Nightmare, which is one of my favorite songs of hers, that is about female empowerment, really female rage. She has a lot of songs where that is a key component. She's someone who, yes, she's going to be political because she inherently is. Like, that's actually part of her brand. And actually the times where she has not spoken up about things, her fan base has kind of gotten up in arms about it because they feel a little betrayed. Whereas like with Katy Perry, she's someone who was so famous and so general public that when you start getting into politics, it's kind of iffy, because you start alienating. If you have that general, like really widespread reach, you start alienating people, no matter which kind of road you take politically. But also, if you're going to do it, you have to commit. And she Chained to the Rhythm. Well, by the way, it's a bop. I'm not going to lie. I actually like that song. Is it political? gun to my head, I could not tell you what the political message is. It's unclear. So she marketed it one way, which immediately alienates anyone who disagrees with her politically. So anyone who leans more conservative, who would have listened to her music, would have, especially during that time, that it was so, like, the tension was palpable. Not that it's not now, but this is like following the 2016 election. It's very, yes, like Me Too, all of that. Anyone who disagreed with her politically was immediately really put off. And then people who would have agreed with her in the theory, who were more left-leaning, listened to the song and said, this is a nothing burger. There's so many reasons. And on top of that, she, I think, has fallen into the trap of being cringe, like having a giant toilet on tour with a piece of poop singing. Like that was on her most recent tour. She sat on a toilet seat.
That is very funny, but probably not in the way she wanted it to be.
You know, you gotta, I think also she was just someone who was very like self-aware and kitschy with her aesthetics. She had a whipped cream bra. You have to evolve with that, and you can still be like self-referential and things.
Well, you need to evolve, but you also need to stay on brand, which is a tough line to toe, I imagine.
Yeah. And she kind of, I think her idea of, because she actually did all of that for Witness. Like, she completely changed everything, and then it flopped really bad. And she then, and also, she had beef with Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift released Bad Blood about that feud, which was on 1989. It was a single. It was a huge hit. She got a Kendrick Lamar feature on the remix, which, by the way, is really good.
It was the Lego Ninjago movie. Needle dropped that song. So that's full circle.
She put out that song. It was such a hit. She had a music video where she had all of her female famous friends featured as fighters, villains in it. It was really cool, by the way. Go watch the video. But that was in 2015. And it was a hot topic, their feud. And then in 2017, so a whole 2 years later, Katy Perry released a song on Witness called Swish Swish with a Nicki Minaj verse. It's about that situation. I ironically really like the song because, as you, Eric, know, I love bad music sometimes. Yeah. Like I think it's really bad and funny, and so I listen to it, but then like I listen to it so many times that I just at the end of it genuinely like listening to it. I've like Pavlov myself. That's one of those songs because it's not good. But it was like 2 years after it like Taylor had put out Bad Blood, so not only was it not very good, especially compared to Bad Blood, that was such a hit for Taylor, and also kind of very honest in it. Like, Band-Aids don't fix bullet holes. You say sorry just for show. Katie's came off kind of mean. Swish, swish, B-word, another one in the basket. Can't touch this, another one in the casket. Okay. Yeah. Mean-spirited. It was giving kind of Mean Girl, and also folks were kind of confused as to why she was responding 2 years later. It's old news at that point. And then on top of that, she was mean in it. And then also, as opposed to Taylor's video, she had all of these really famous women, like powerful women. And Katy Perry had that backpack kid who flossed, did that Fortnite dance in the video for Swish Swish. And I think that, in a nutshell, captures it. Katy Perry thought evolving meant pandering and just jumping on whatever like the internet trend was at the time, very memey. And Taylor sees evolution as I don't ever want to make the same album twice. And also, I think just like not being cringe about it. I don't even know how to what I'm even trying to, I know what I'm trying to say. I can't find the words for it. Katy Perry is cringe and Taylor is not. Like, I mean, she's yes, but in a general sense, like, I mean, we're not paying attention to Showgirl.
With Taylor Swift's, specifically her brand, why do people, because Taylor Swift has a lot of merch, why do her fans like having merch of her?
If you're asking, why does Olivia currently today?
I mean, we can ask that.
Why do I?
Yeah.
Well, I'll say that, and then I'm gonna say what the reason was before my frontal lobe was fully cooked, which I think is more indicative of why the general public or general Swifties do. The reason I do, and I think a lot of longtime fans like myself who truly almost feel like they have something of a relationship with her music, and have grown up with this soundtrack to all of our really hard and really good memories. When you have an artist that impacts you so deeply, it becomes part of your identity to some extent. And by having this physical object that you can kind of wear like a badge, it's kind of an identifier. It's a way to say, you know, I support this artist. I like this album. And also it's really cool when you are wandering the aisles at the grocery store wearing a shirt, especially like a shirt like this that's very wearable. It's not just her face plastered on it, which, you know, there's a place for that too. Usually it's my pajamas, and that's
you
fine.
have plenty of t-shirts.
Then I have plenty of them. But with this one, like something like this, it's very wearable. It's more of like an if you know, you know thing. Mm-hmm. Because if you saw this shirt and you didn't know the song or you weren't super familiar with Taylor, you might just think you probably would just think it was just a shirt with a little phrase on it. But when I'm wearing it at the grocery store and I'm looking at the Honey Nut Cheerios and someone comes up to me and says, I love your shirt, it's a way for us to connect. And it's kind of a I see you sort of moment. And that's really special. Especially with something like this. This is such a deep cut song. So when people know this shirt, I'm like, oh, you're real. You're a real one.
Now, what about prefrontal lobe, Olivia?
Yeah. So, and this, I honestly could just sum it in one word, which is FOMO. I think, and Taylor's, I mean, you don't become a billionaire without being pretty good at capitalism. So she is notorious for the limited time only, with like a countdown on her website and all of that. It's like this shirt that you wouldn't like buy if it didn't have like just TS at the bottom corner.
$80.
It's $80 and it's only here for 10 seconds. No, it's like 48 hours. And you're like, oh. But also it's almost like a competition, especially when you're online. Cause I grew up, I was raised in the arms of Stan Twitter, unfortunately for me. And there it's kind of like, I need to own every piece of merch or I am inferior. It's also like, especially when you see things like vinyl variants, this is true, unfortunately. When Folklore came out, she released, I'm not sure how many different colorways for the vinyl, and each one had a different cover image. They were all different, like alternate images. And I could have just bought one. And today I probably would just buy one.
Right.
I would pick one, probably the pink one, which was the first one I bought. And I said, that's really pretty. I'm gonna buy this one. That's what I would do today. And me 6 years ago, who was really depressed in COVID and locked in the house and had nothing to live for, I said, well, I really like the pink one, but they just dropped a purple one too. And I really like the purple one, and it's only here for a limited time. And if it's going to sell out and then they're not going to restock it. And then what if I really want it, but I can't get it then? And, and I actually wound up buying, I hate to say it, I don't know how many versions of Folklore I own. I'd have to call Susan, my mom, shout out, to go up to my childhood bedroom and count. It's more than 5. I will tell you that. More than 5.
It's the same album.
It is the same album 5 times, just different colors. Different album artwork. That said, that was so unnecessary, and this is the worst part. I didn't even have a record player at the time.
Taylor Swift saw that we all got stimulus checks and said, I want that, actually.
Yeah, she got my stimothy with a quickness.
give me your money.
Yeah.
Well, with physical, because she, wearable merch, the connection, but like with physical merch, with the records, with like, there's like ornaments or just like non-wearables, stuff you keep in your house. What is the appeal there? Because that isn't like necessarily connection with other Taylor Swift fans.
Well, ornaments, she does do a Christmas specific drop every year, and she releases ornaments for the different eras. That's kind of the intersection of two of my interests. My mom, as you know, collects Christmas ornaments, and our tree is just a mishmash of every single place we have ever been. Taylor releasing ornaments from the time I was a kid, because also when I was growing up, my mom would, Santa would bring me one ornament every year. Well, and also other gifts. You get one ornament and that's it.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That's worse than coal. I would get an ornament every year, and like one year I had my first dance recital. I got a little pair of ballet slippers that hung on the tree. And when I fell in love with Taylor, it became every year I got a Taylor Swift ornament. So it got to such a point, because now I am 27. So I have a lot of Taylor Swift ornaments that my mom was like, what if we just had a Taylor Swift Christmas tree? Which we do. And every year we set up a Taylor Swift Christmas tree in our basement next to the fireplace. And we put all the Taylor ornaments on. So it's really cool for me personally every year when she drops ornaments, because it's like a new addition to my Taylor Swift tree. But for those things, like I have so many things. I have candles that she's released. I have, she released during Folklore, an hourglass that says August slipped away. Yeah, I have that. I have blankets. And there's just like beautiful woven blankets. With things, I have cups. I'm like, things are popping into my head.
But like, why?
It is a way to like connect with it, because again, it's just Taylor Swift, the artist, and the art that she has created has soundtracked my entire life, and it will until I die. And those songs are kind of like, they're part of the reason I am who I am today, is the music that I listen to. Because music for me, sometimes for some people that's movies. I know like people don't play about Star Wars, things like that. My Star Wars is Taylor Swift. Well, some people don't play about Lego, and it's a way to have something that's important to me in little fixtures of my life. If she released a sugar dish and it was cute, I might buy the sugar dish, and it's because her music means a lot to me and makes me happy.
Thank you so much for Olivia Sheane for coming on this podcast. We recently got engaged. I just wanted to introduce you to her. She just started law school. I'm really excited for her. I'm proud of her. She's going to do so great. Thank you also to my Clutch Power supporters. It's awesome to have support for this show. You inspire me to just kind of keep pushing this show further and further. It has moved beyond covering old LEGO themes into something really exciting and unique and beautiful. If you want to become a supporter, the link is in the show notes. You're going to get bonus content for every episode along with a special digital LEGO mock. For this one, I asked Olivia what icon best represents Taylor Swift. She said, do her rhinestone guitar. So that's what I did. Very glittery, very cool. And finally, thank you for listening to the show. I'm beyond grateful you made it this far. I really appreciate it. If you can, share the show with a friend. That is the number one way this podcast can grow. If you know a Swiftie or a LEGO fan or someone who was both, send this their way. My name's Eric Crittenden. This has been Clutch Power. Stay connected.